What's happening, everybody? I am Dadbod. If you are just joining us, well, I'm glad that you're here, but shame on you. There have been a ton of awesome TASers throughout this entire event. Big shout out to everyone. Lots of money coming in, but we still need some more. What's up, chat? See the love? I see the love. Whew, this feels good. I'm excited. I hope you guys are all very excited too. Once again, TASGiving benefits the National Alliance on Mental Illness. It's the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization dedicated to building better lives for the millions of Americans affected by mental illness. You can read more by going to NAMI.org or donate now. Go to the link donate.tasgiving.org. We want to see a ton of dollars in. I already got my donation in. I know a bunch of the folks in our voice chat also did, so I hope you will as well. So we are kind of like the last event before the grand finale, and I'm really excited to bring this to you. If you do not know, Celeste obviously holds a dear place in all of our hearts. As you can see, the chat just blowing up, and Celeste got some great attention. It's a fantastic game, but the modding scene is fantastic. I got to take a second just to shout out the modding scene. Awesome people, a lot of great, helpful people. And you know what we're about to show you is something totally new if you're not familiar with Celeste modding, and it's just like a labor of love. It's really hard to explain like all that went into this. There's so many people that helped put this together. And before I introduce the TASing team who's on commentary right now, I just kind of want to show off a little bit about what this mod is, what it's about, how it works. For those of you who are interested in Celeste, or you've seen some gameplay, or maybe you just beaten the core game, there is so much more to it than just the vanilla game. The modding scene is huge. There's tons of great challenges. And this is just a great example of what has been made possible. So the 2020 Celeste Community Collab is kind of, like I said, a labor of love. We had over 100 different contributors for this. I mean, just from a music team, you know, we kind of broke everything up into separate teams. So obviously you had your mapping team, people who put the maps together. We had over 60 mappers, many people making multiple maps in here. Big shout out to the music team, because if you have played this already, the soundtrack is just totally banging. The soundtrack actually is available on most streaming platforms. One of the really cool things that we did when we started doing all of this, I reached out to the actual devs of Celeste, and we wanted to take the album and put it up for sale, but we wanted to donate that money to to a good organization, and we asked them kind of what their thoughts were. And they reached out and said Trans Lifeline. Obviously, we have a huge, awesome trans community, LGBTQIA. Like, everybody has been amazing, like super supportive, and we wanted to be able to give back. So Trans Lifeline has gotten the majority of all the proceeds. So far, the collab soundtrack has hit 50,000 plays, and we've raised over $500 in just album sales, not to mention over $4,000 when we did the Modberry Cup. Mr. Majama put together a really awesome fundraiser for that too. We raised a ton of money for them. So I kind of wanted to dig into this really quick, show you what this is all about, and then we're going to get into one of the craziest TASes you've ever seen. I promise. Hopping in, as we can see here, this map is separated into lobbies, and I've got to say, first and foremost, huge shout out to Jade. Jade is the creator of a program called Everest, which makes all of this possible. Jade pretty much had to tear this entire game apart and put it back together to make this work the way that we wanted it to work. And as you can tell, we're in a giant overworld, and there are there are 100 maps in here. And in each lobby, as you can see, we're in the beginner lobby. Each lobby carries anywhere between, I think it's 15 and 28 different maps that you can access through here, and they are all gated behind different difficulties. So we have an intermediate lobby, and they all have different themes. Obviously, you can kind of tell what some are. Big shout out to our spriting team. You can tell there's a lot of custom assets that were put into here. The clouds have been changed into these sweet little leaves. I love them. And the one lobby that I promised to not go into is the Grandmaster lobby, because we're saving that one for last. So really quick, a breakdown of how our teams went, because we started this in January, and we released this on Farewell's anniversary. So it took us a good, over 8 months to put all this stuff together. Another big shout out, obviously, to Kruor. Kruor is the one who made Ahorn, which is the program that allows us to build maps. Excuse me, the teams, I got really lost for a second. Everything was broken down into teams, and that is really how everything was managed really well. Big shout out to Bissy, who was kind of one of the big admins, making sure everything went smoothly. First, obviously, our mapping team, over 60 different mappers put all this stuff together. Our music team, as we said, big shout out, small team, but they put together a soundtrack with over 50 original songs. Every mapper who wanted a song got their own tune, which was insane. Our deco team's job was to make sure that every single map looked unique, but it also looked like it could be something that would fit into the vanilla game. It didn't look like it was fan-made, and just an insane job. With that, we also had our playtesting team that spent just thousands of hours just going through this to make sure there was no jank, if you will. Another big shout out to our coding team, because as you're about to see, there are a ton of custom assets. Obviously, we see sub-chapter menus that we can skip between different maps. That wasn't possible before. We have a journal here that we can see each map inside the collab, our progress, how many berries we've collected, how many deaths with the lowest deaths, the time, best time. And obviously, since this is for speedrun, each map includes a different type of strawberry. You're used to collecting strawberries, but these will actually, they're tied to a specific amount of time. We call them speed berries, obviously. So if you collect your berry and you finish the map in a set amount of time, you collect that berry. And there's obviously a bronze, gold, and silver for all of them. That took a ton to get programmed in. Also, big shout out to our spriting team. Spriting team had to make some custom assets. You can see some of these things here, like, just don't normally exist in the game, certain tile sets. Our speedrun team were the people who spent just crazy amount of hours finding like the most ideal strats, to a lot of streamers' chagrin, because I know there are some people who may or may not have gotten a little upset at some of those speedruns. But before I turn it over to the TAS team, just a couple other quick notes, because, I realize that there are a lot of people who have played Celeste, they enjoyed the core game, and maybe they want more, but most of the mods, frankly, are just really, really, really difficult. And that might not be your level of skill. So that's why we initially created different difficulty lobbies. So in the beginner lobby, it pretty much uses just vanilla game tech. As we get into a little bit more advanced, we can swing into the advanced lobby. This is where things start to pick up in difficulty. But we wanted to make sure that if you weren't familiar with like how that difficulty, goes, or if there's certain tech that you might not know, we included a gem for every single level of difficulty. And what's really cool about this, there are certain moves. We could see the neutral climb, and it will actually give us a full detailed description on how to do it. Plus, you can see Madeline just doing her thing up there, so we can see, okay, this is how you do a neutral. Who would have guessed that I would have gone to the neutral? So it's really nice, especially as you get to the like latter parts of this map, and there's just some things that you don't know how to do. This is going to make sure it teaches you. Another really neat feature that we implemented was a return to lobby. And it's just nice, so you don't have to go to the map and start all over again. You can just continue back where you started in the lobby. So I can't say enough. Like, the coding team did an amazing job. Like, everyone put in an insane amount of hours. I couldn't even start to calculate the amount of total hours that we all put in doing all the things that were necessary to make this happen. And I know that I speak for the entire modding community that worked on this. This is, like, we are truly proud of this, and the reception has been amazing. It's, like, hard to put into words. Like, I do my best to hop into people's streams on Twitch or YouTube as often as I can to just, like, say, hey, how's it going? How are you liking things? And the reception has been overwhelmingly positive, and you hit me right here. I love you guys. Thank you so much. So, as I said before, so 100 maps in this collab. This is the longest Celeste TAS ever written. We had over 20 people working on this TAS for months. Literally thousands of hours went into this. Obviously, I can't have everybody on here, but I do have a few people with me to help me out to kind of go over all the things that made this possible. And then we're going to give some shout outs to that team, and then we're going to get it underway. I am joined today here with Vamp. Say hi, Vamp.
Howdy.
Yo. I'm also here with Tyran.
Hello.
Boom. Kataiser.
Hey, y'all.
Yo. And last but not least, Sashabell.
Hey.
All right, take it away. I am, you're going to not see this face anymore. Sasha's about to take it away and give a shout out. Peace out.
I think we were supposed to be doing a tech tutorial for some of the basic tech, so that for people who haven't played the game.
That's why we went to the gym.
That's fine.
Take it away.
Okay. All right. Well, sure. Okay. So credits. Yes. Yeah. So a lot of people worked on this TAS, like 20 people, and I'm just gonna run through everyone who contributed. So we have Dahlukeh H, Dannnn, Euniversecat, FishMcMuffins, Gliperal, Kataiser, Lanvilla, Lmjacks, Marlin, Mazrock9, Mlseg, Nebs, RichConnerGMN, Sashabell, Squeal, TheRoboMan, T-Row5457, Truegen, Tyran, Vamp, Vitellary, and last but not least, Wafer. And with that, I guess take it away.
You ready, Dadbud?
Oh, I'm ready to go.
Dadbud, you need to go live in Discord so that we can see it.
Yeah.
That somehow got missed.
There we go.
Okay.
Alright.
Let's go.
So already done.
That was the prologue.
It's so fast that it went on screen before we even connected to the stream.
Yep.
Yeah, so something we're talking about with lobbies is that they have no clear route through them usually. There are many different routes you can take. And so a program was written to take a list of input files and build what's called a graph in computer science out of them, and then solve them with a traveling salesman problem, I believe, or something similar to that. And that's a big part of how lobbies were optimized. The lobbies being the hubs that access the different maps. Yeah, so in this map, there are a lot of battle-ins, and you cannot skip any of them.
Yeah, the screen will actually just not scroll, which is one of the more annoying things. We're going into our first, we're going into the first puzzle level. And there's a lot of crazy Theo movement. From experience, it's very hard to TAS anything with throwables.
Neutrals are disabled in this map, but the TAS just does that anyway.
Yeah, I think a couple of things to mention are the door boosts, well, the door G Ultra cancels. So if you do a like a dash while crouching, you get extra speed 1.2 times, and if you run into a door and then jump, then when the door disappears, you'll keep that speed through the door.
Yeah, the way it works is
and-
usually when Madeline dashes into the ground, the game usually wants to kill her speed when that dash ends. But if you happen to be in front of a door that's disappearing, you can just keep the speed.
Yeah, and that also applies to throwables like Theo and the jellies.
Pause buffer time.
Oh yeah, pause buffer. Funny pause buffer time. That pause buffer that was invisible for some reason. That saved 1 frame of IGT.
Does
And
anybody want to explain what pause buffers do?
They let you hold jump without jumping.
yes,
It's a very technical tech.
Okay,
yeah.
so right here is my biggest contribution to this task.
Just go through the
That was it.
There's a
Just go through
screen
the screen.
transition up there. And so if you crouch jump through those spikes, you'll end up skipping that whole room, which saves about 6 seconds.
Oh yes, and this
Shout
is
out
the
to Marlin
pretty
for
funny.
that strat.
Yeah, so there's a ceiling there, and when you bonk on walls as the feather, all your speed can be redirected anywhere since, yeah. Also, no shoutouts to that cycle, which was terrible, and lost all of the time that we saved, pretty much.
Something worth mentioning is spinners. Is the internal name for these kind of circular spikes that are not placed up against walls. I don't know why they're called that, but people are used to it.
Don't
But
spin, yeah.
what's important about them is they are not continuous with their hitboxes. They generally, if you're using the default grid settings, there's a 4 pixel gap between the hitboxes and spinners.
This particular map
This one doesn't have
has
a lot.
some non-grid aligned spinners, which makes it impossible to go through those gaps, which is very annoying for us TASers.
Yeah, it's possible to dash
demos-
with a crouch hitbox.
Yeah, so we need to explain demos.
Do it.
Yeah, right there.
So basically, in the first 4 frames of your dash, it hasn't actually decided which direction you're going to dash yet. So if you press down, it'll make you crouch, and then if you switch directions before the 5th frame of your dash, you'll do a normal dash, but with the crouched hitbox.
Yeah, and you can't chain two of those together. So if you try to, which will, so if you're like, if you see stuff and you think, oh, why don't you just demo twice in a row? It's because you can't. If you already have a crouched hitbox and you try to do another dash, then you'll just it uncrouches you automatically.
Just take
So
the
you have to
barrier out
wait.
there. Just skip the
Some
whole room.
mappers like to place spinners 3 pixels apart manually, because by default it's by 4 pixels.
Just to be mean.
Yeah. Oh, did we already pass the 5 pixel crouched map yet?
That's guesses. I don't think we have yet.
So my particular role in this task was being the mad scientist, and this level right here, there is, if you could get like a ridiculous amount of speed, you could theoretically skip hitting that box, but it's just not feasible, which is one of the most disappointing things about this map.
There's a lot of disappointing things in Celeste testing.
We
So
make
many
up
things that
for
don't work.
Yeah.
a lot of cool stuff that actually does work. So
Yeah. The core stuff that does work definitely does make up for it, but I think it's always frustrating to spend hours trying to do something and then it's just barely not possible. And it's something that would save like a lot of time, but you just can't quite make it. Yeah, that's always unfortunate.
Right now that we see a bird, one really weird property about birds is that if you die in that room, birds just randomly decide to just fling you farther, and we have no reason why it works.
it's true.
I think we do.
also-
It's just really technical.
That also works with other things like battle line bosses. So battle line is like the antagonist of the game. Yeah.
That was not a desync.
That was just wasting
That was-
time because they want to do one of those door ultras. Yeah.
I was terrified that it desync. So
Basically know that Ultra equals a lot of speed.
Yeah, it's 1.2 times.
And then if you chain them, it stacks.
Yeah, speed multipliers as opposed to additions are very broken. And
So one of the things that the devs made in this game was that there's no speed cap on Madeline, so they tried to make the movement very technical and like limitless.
And,
we're gonna see that later.
yeah, that's
Gonna abuse
absolutely.
that.
So this is a very flexible game in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah,
And,
definitely.
and a lot of it is, I mean, it's all intent. Well, it's not all intended, but it's all
Yeah.
the devs purposely made it very open.
So
It's a 2v bait. Look at it.
There are some ultras right there. Actually, those aren't. I think those were some uprights into corner boosts.
So, you may have seen those demo dashes and thought, why didn't you just go through the lower ones? The reason why is because if you're too close to the ground and you dash, you'll like stick to the ground, and so you'll actually get pulled inside of that spinner.
Yeah, so it's corner correction, and corner correction is
that's not
really.
It's just pulling you to the ground.
Well,
but
it's a similar type of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes.
Okay.
I tried for so long to get a crouch jump through those spinners at the beginning and never managed.
Yeah.
I was so sad.
But there is a crouch jump coming up.
Yeah, the devs include a lot of game tech to basically make the game easier for like casual players, like adding leniency to any kind of movement.
Right, and we as casters abuse that too.
Oh yeah, I think one of the most one of the best examples of something like that is something that we call wall boosting, which was initially added as a way to do neutral jumps if you forget to release
if you just hold away like one frame too late.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that what that meant is that what you can do is you can use your climb jump and turn away, and then you get your stamina back, and you also get 130 speed in the opposite direction. Well, ish.
And the reason why is because the game essentially treats it like you just did a wall kick, which is when you.
However, the difference is that you actually get a bit less speed, and also it's delayed. So you can just chain them on walls to climb faster. You can also do them instead of corner boosts to make your speed quickly.
I hope you like upright.
Upright.
Oh yeah.
Really precise, and it was precise enough that we figured out that the spinner hitboxes were wrong and had to fix them.
Yes. Yeah, that was literally the map. That was the map that made create a mod to fix the spinner hitboxes, because we were just like, what is going on?
Yeah, so we have a hitbox viewer in the game. So that upright demo was originally done. It turned out to be not needed, but it was done with a Desmos calculator and an Excel spreadsheet. Also, Mossy Caverns.
Oh god!
Here we go.
Here we go. Okay. This level is terrible for TASing because it's analog movement. But not only is it analog movement, it's analog movement but with extra pain. So the thing is that the X and Y are not connected at all in terms of your speed. And what this means is that in optimal turning, you don't want to just hold a different direction. No. You want to input like 5 different frame perfect inputs to make sure that the angle changes gradually, to make sure you lose as little speed as possible, which means that every single turn has like 5 frame perfect inputs, and they all have to be calculated individually to make sure that the turning angles are optimal. And it took so long, and it was so frustrating.
Yeah.
There is some contact though.
3 times.
Yeah.
This PTSD.
This is half of the things in this TAS are actually impossible to perform on keyboard because they require analog input.
Yes.
First, Tyran made a draft for like 5 hours where it was just all D-pad input.
And then Vitellary was like, hey,
underwater.
This might be a thing, and it was the worst thing ever.
There's some core tech I wanted to point out. So one thing, you probably won't notice it, if you alternate it, when you enter water, your speed, your X and Y speed are higher than the maximum. And so if you alternate pressing left, like right and down or right and up, you can maintain that maximum and just below maximum for like quite a while, and that saves a bit of time. It depends on the place that you use it. And another interesting thing that you can see right there, you can see that she moves slightly. That's because the way these bubbles work is that they're basically just retextured wind, and when you exit wind, there's like a cooldown period where it still pushes you. However, if you're against a wall, you don't get pushed, and so you can almost store the kind of the wind cooldown effect and use it for later so that you can maintain more speed and not bonk into the wall.
We also never explained water
pretty-
boosting. That's kind of also important.
Yeah, when you're in the water, you can jump every frame.
When near the
Yeah.
surface.
That's used in quite a lot of things.
Nice.
Yeah.
Every jump
So
you
this
do.
map's annoying. You can save at least 20 frames in a room and have all of it be lost to cycles, and it's a painful experience.
Oh, we're gonna see plenty of that.
Not
Yeah.
to give the wrong impression here. Celeste testing is usually pretty painless.
Yeah, in the previous
Not always, though.
map with those battle and blocks, you had Mlseg like save 2 seconds, and they all got eaten to cycles, and then Vitellary came back later, saved 10 frames, and then saved back all of those 2 seconds because it skipped a cycle.
That retry gives you better cycles.
Yeah.
Also, there was jumping off spikes there. You just do that.
Yeah, this section where you just kind of ignore the spikes.
Yeah, Madeline just doesn't care about the wave.
They're just a suggestion.
So the way that spikes work is they only kill you if you're moving towards them, sorry, I should just say if you're not moving away from them. That's more accurate. If you're moving away from them even slightly, they will not kill you. And also, if you're on a moving platform, or if a platform moves into you, then that does not count. And so that's how we can jump off of things, off of spikes and stuff like that, is because it's moving platforms or being pushed by wind and stuff like that.
The reasoning for that is really technical and would probably go beyond what we could explain in this time. So, unfortunately, we can't.
Yeah, we can't go much more into
I could say, like, the game moves Madeline, and then it checks for collision, and then it moves the block. So it checks for
Yeah.
collision before the block moves.
Yeah.
Mental's in our main player character.
Yeah.
Can I get
And,
a couple of donations in here while there's a lull?
Oh,
Sure.
sure. Yeah, this is not too.
Okay.
Let's go.
We got 100 from the Axeman. Thanks for everyone for the support for this great event. Let's keep things going just a little longer and see that Grandmaster section.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
And
Let's
then we've
go.
got
Yeah,
10
so
from Game
donate
Theory.
that.
Loving these insanely technical Celeste strats. And then we've also got 10 from Troy Faithins. In the middle of export, and still want to see TASBot destroy my ego with this skill.
Yeah, when Dadbud told me to unmute, I literally accidentally opened Photoshop.
Nice one. Ooh, shout out to Robo for finding that one. That's
Yeah.
a really neat strat.
That's insane. Also
Yeah.
funny cut
And
on
then
that.
Watch it.
this is really easy. You can do it RTA.
Wait. Excuse me?
So
Yes.
so the vertical level transition right there extends to the left, so you can enter from the wrong area.
Somebody just disrespected my map. It's amazing.
Yeah, the tile set in this map is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Should we explain? We can explain multiple block boosts. So the way that we get lots of speed from moving blocks is that basically, when you do certain actions, you gain speed from them, and the block boosts you. And these also occur 9 frames after you leave a block. And
So every single
if-
dash and jump done just gives you an extra block boost, so you can get multiple sets of speed that just throw
That's
Madeline
how-
across the map.
And that's how we get so much speed off of moving blocks. That's why it's so broken. And we will see some very fast
So these are jump and
moving.
fails.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So these are
jumping
one of the
fills.
new custom mechanics, and they're very useful. because you can do a technique called the hyper, where you cancel a down dash by jumping or doing anything similar, and it gives you a speed boost. Those are intended. They were manually programmed in.
Yes.
And they're the main way we get speed throughout any Celeste test.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, Scott Mountain.
Except
Okay.
So
This is a lot of double
this
collaboration.
task is a dashless map. There are a few of these, and dashless movement is very technical but not as flashy. One of the ways that we get speed is a double corner boost. So if you have low enough speed, you can climb jump once and then climb jump again, and you'll get 2 corner boosts for around plus 80 speed as opposed to just plus 40.
The reason why.
And so.
The reason why that works is because if you're at a low enough speed, you can position yourself so that even after the first corner boost, you're still not touching the wall.
Yeah.
See, a corner boost, if you
and-
climb jump at the top of a wall, you just get a speed boost because that's how jump works.
Yes.
Jumps just like to give.
And
40
here, by the way, here we've got around 300 speed, so
Which
yeah.
is the speed of a hyper.
Yeah.
the most important thing about
That was
corner
really fun
boost
to do.
is not the boost itself, because it's usually pretty small. It's the fact that your speed going into it is preserved.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Doing
really
something
quick
like a
here.
dash, which is
Especially from dashes, yeah. You
Yeah.
can conserve speed from dashes using corner boost.
Well,
oh yeah,
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit
Yeah.
about this. So we saw that heart gate open up, and so we kind of programmed something in kind of late game, and I think it was Bissy who had like the main idea for this. So this is called the heart side, and the heart side is a grouping of pretty much all the maps in the difficulty as one final challenge. And I think that's it's kind of important to know, because that does provide some of the craziest challenges. I don't want to take too much time. You guys take back over, but that's what we're looking at right now is the heart side. Just the final
these are some
chapter
of
in
the
each
longest.
lobby.
These are some of
that's
the longest maps.
Yeah, they're significantly longer than everything else.
So there we had a bunch of extra boost or jumps, and so we basically used them to water boost in the air by just jumping a bunch.
Yeah. I can't believe we explained multiple block boosts before we explained hypers. That's an interesting order to explain
Don't worry
things in.
about it.
Oh yes, some more
Shout out
dashes,
to more.
more water movement.
I'm just gonna quote you from the original showcase. Please never make a
Yes.
dashless water map
Please.
ever again.
Please never ever make another one. I never want to do this again. It took so long. Please don't
Yeah.
ever make a dashless water map.
Every
ever
single
again.
one of those
Thank you.
analog inputs is precise to at least 2 decimal points.
Yes. And it took so long, and I never want to do it again. And everyone hates feather movement, and I like feather movement. And the one reason I like feather movement is because it's not water movement.
Oh, so okay. So we skip all the coins in that area because we can just
Oh, yeah.
do that next to the key door. The coins, I should probably explain coins. So coins are an alternative name for switches, or vice versa. A lot of stuff in this game doesn't really have a name, and the community comes up with 5 different names for stuff.
Yeah.
But you
Sure.
collect these coins by just touching them, and then once you've collected all of them in a room, then a block will move out of your way usually, or into the way. And sometimes you don't have to collect them if you don't want to.
Yeah. Well,
Right. Well, we've just entered intermediate now, so we're gonna start by going over
this
here.
is the longest lobby, I think.
Oh yeah, there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tons
there
of
was
maps.
This
There
took a
were-
really long time to route the lobby for, I think.
Oh yeah, I can explain the lobby routing for this map, or for this difficulty. So this lobby is sorted, is just a big circle. Most of them are pretty open, but this one's just a loop. So you have 2 options, clockwise or counterclockwise.
That gave
Which
so
sounds like it would
many
make it
options.
easier. It made it, way too complicated.
There were, I think, like 83 files used for this lobby.
Oh,
And
cool.
then
Oh,
we
of course,
use the program to figure out the best combination of files.
Yep.
Oh, I guess I should mention quickly the reason the swag stuff after the heart collection is due to the fact that when you bonk into hearts, they give you speed away from them, and so if you don't have a dash and then you hit the heart and then dash to collect it, you can dash away from it and it kind of keeps it flings you away, and it just kind of looks. It doesn't save any time. It just looks.
So you may have noticed that one room where we immediately retry, and the reason why, basically respawn triggers still won't like change your respawn point if you retry on the first frame you enter a room, and so the default or the closest spawn point is further into that room, and it skips.
Yeah, and it saves like I think it saves like almost 2 seconds.
That's a
right.
relatively
Yeah.
recent. Actually, it's very.
Yeah, that was very recent. That was literally in the past week. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, so this task as a whole has been worked on for a very long time, and
We're still finding stuff.
it would be unfair to say it's optimized, but we just keep finding new stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
So
even
many-
there's stuff that we've done that isn't even in this showcase because it was found so recently.
Right. Yeah, there's
Yeah, there's only a couple of things, but yeah, if this gets showcased again, maybe at a certain, event,
What are you saying?
Oh, it's like-
Yeah, so pay attention closely here. There's no Theo in this crystal, but everybody keeps calling it Theo.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
love
watch
the
closely
going.
here. We get a bunch of block boosts off of core blocks because you can just corner boost and then dash into Theo.
Yes.
Also, we got into a spot we weren't supposed to get into. You're supposed to throw Theo up there, but you can also get into that area with the trampolines, and you just get like teleported because you hit a bunch of trampolines.
Here's
in a row.
claustrophobia. Here's
This is the longest map.
Yep,
Yeah.
longer than heart size even.
I was gonna touch this map, but it has.
Yeah, I
so
can't
much routing
imagine.
into it.
Yeah, I can't imagine the amount of routing that had to go into this. There's just so many working parts.
I
Yeah,
think I
almost
spent-
no chambers are done correctly.
Yeah, I think I spent 3 weeks with this on Lanvilla.
This particular key, the reason why we're not dashing is because you'll lose it if you dash while you have
Just
it.
another custom entity.
Yep.
And maybe try there to keep the box, because you can bring boxes between rooms, and that makes it incredibly useful to just skip cycles, like right here, or you can entirely skip puzzles.
The camera there is kind of weird because it makes it look like there's a big like gap, but there's actually like flooring underneath, so you can just walk.
Throw the box there.
Also, yeah.
Disrespect.
Just barely taps it.
Yeah, boxes' hitboxes are bigger than their actual hitbox, so it can reach inside of walls to touch coins.
Is it like, Oh, I think that's just also coin hitboxes are slightly weird with certain
Using
things.
the respawn mechanic.
Like with feathers
there.
as well.
Yeah, so that's
so with-
similar to what we did earlier with the respawn.
Yeah, so the coin hitboxes, especially with feathers, are very weird, and I don't get how they work.
You can spike
But you
climb.
don't need to be really near the coin if you're in a feather to actually collect it. It'll just do it, and so there's times that it doesn't really look like you should be collecting coins, but you do.
Like right
Yeah,
there.
there's a coin inside of there, but we just throw the box on top of it.
You can see the particle effects and nothing else. Yeah, something they had
That's a
noticed.
really cool strat where you sit in the jump through and grab the box and then go back down. Those are supposed to be one-ways where you can go up, but then you can't go back down.
Speaking of jump throughs, who wants to talk about the upside down jump throughs?
Oh, so there was a custom entity added.
I mean, there's a custom too.
Yeah, where basically it is.
You see it right here, upside
Yeah.
down, hiding the key.
We should explain
It's
what normal
basically, yeah. So jump throughs are those little platforms you see where they have they like stick out and they like little skinny ledges. And upside down jump throughs are sort of, I mean, it's self-explanatory. They're that, but upside down. But there is a
an old bug where if you uncrouched while underneath a jump through, it just let you through. And there was a lot of controversy around patching it or not.
And it made it into the final, like, original published version, and then they patched it out, which caused lots of chaos.
We should probably explain
half of the maps were
the water.
Yeah, let's explain this. Get into this.
Yeah. So there was a bug in the way that water worked, where it would like push you down when you exited it. So to fix this, water gave you a 1.1 times speed boost. Then Everest got patched and it was no longer necessary, but this map was made before that, and so it uses the 1.1 times speed boost as a mechanic. Yeah, and so it works in a very weird way. So it can apply twice, like once when you exit it and then once when you like exit it again. It's pretty weird.
Yeah, you can build up a ton of speed in these water columns.
Yeah.
As we see.
Yeah. So the water
can just
TAS only. The water columns are, you just do it by holding jump. But water boosting afterwards is TAS only. That's how you get all the extra speed.
Here's space mode where the screen wraps. So Madeline, when she enters the bottom, she comes out on top, and it makes tassing slightly slowly because she just likes to float around and the physics are all messed up.
And also, you move slower horizontally.
That doesn't stop the TAS from just being incredibly fast.
Because it doesn't affect dashes, so if we dash a lot, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I think that applies to everything that slows you down. So it applies to wind, it applies to space mode. Anytime there's something that kind of other than actual slowdown, from like say Oshiro or Seekers, if you dash, it will counteract it. This works with and against you, so if there's wind pushing you in the correct direction, then dashing also will negate the wind effect. So sometimes it can be slower to dash when there's wind than it is just not dash. But it does also work with you against wind.
This puzzle is the only one that's done really differently than normal. That was a spinner dash refresh, by the way.
Yeah.
With the moving block, and you can't skip this cutscene, unfortunately.
So with regular spikes, they made it so that if you're on the ground while in spikes, you don't get your dashes back. But with those particular types of spikes, spinners, they don't have that check, so you can get your dash back. The window of pixels that you have to be in is a lot tighter, but it is useful in quite a few places.
So whoever thought you'd see the jellyfish at Celestial Resort?
Yeah, and electricity.
Yeah.
I guess they got it, took it to the 21st century,
Really sad that watchtower, the binoculars are like too far away from that big gap of electricity, because if you move your camera far enough off screen with the binoculars and then exit them, you can deload that electricity, but unfortunately you can't get quite far enough down to
I guess we can also explain. Actually, we should explain. So roof cut, at the beginning of that screen, is something that was a very new tech that only works in a couple of places in anything really. Roof tiles are entities and they aren't permanently loaded, which means that if you are in the right position, you can clip into them, and so that allows you to get an ultra and conserve some speed.
They're not loaded across.
This is another one of those levels that won't scroll if you don't hit the battle line.
Any battling boss room was
But another thing to mention, since we were talking about how electricity is unloaded, the more common thing is spinners are also unloaded if you're off screen, which is how you have a lot of shenanigans.
We're gonna see that soon in a later level.
Yeah. And so there's a couple things. It's like if you are off screen, they don't kill you, and also if you.
Yeah, this map. Yeah, I despise the mapper who made this map because he named it the game. So I just made everybody lose the game.
Yeah, we all lost.
Oh, fuck you, fuck you. I mean,
Sir, that is not.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You
better donate.
Yeah, you better donate.
Speaking of donations,
Oh god.
You better donate at link. Yeah.
Speaking of donations, do we have any?
Oh, actually,
We have a couple.
Maybe
Yep,
I should do
let's-
it later since I
yes,
don't want to turn
please.
into a robot
Donation time.
by
Let's go.
overloading my internet.
We got one from Casey Cake that's from the 4 white mages. Here's $1 for that last remaining white mage. And we got one from Chef Olak, which is $25, and it's thank you for showcasing so many interesting runs. Great commentary, great community, and great cause.
Let's go.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And
No problem.
should I continue explaining the spinner deloading thing?
We'll see it later.
I feel like we covered it pretty.
I guess the only other thing is that it also works with binoculars. So if you move
Yeah.
binoculars away, then it will also unload it. So we just call that bino clip. Very well.
If Madeline goes fast, she goes through spinners. That's just how
Yeah.
it works.
So
Yeah.
on this map, I found a 2-frame time save right here. So you used to turn, or there used to be an extra dash. Dashing basically resets your vertical speed, and this map is all downwards. And holding down
wanna
is
do
faster
down.
than dashing down.
And you have infinite dashes.
So basically, we're trying to
wasn't very sure.
minimize the number of dashes that are possible.
Right here, we collect the last berry. That's the last
If the
berry you'll
da-
see.
If the dashes look weird, it's because they are 0.8 times dash length. So they are much shorter than usual.
Yeah. This next map doesn't have like too much in terms of like crazy strats. It's just a lot of like horizontal movement optimization.
That's how most Dadbon maps are.
Funny dad map. Let's go.
Yeah, Deadbot,
Yes.
you had like one map in every difficulty, right?
Yeah. During the development, there were so many people who were saying, "Oh, I don't have enough time to finish my map. Can you give me more time?" And then Dadbod kept getting annoyed by them that he just made a map in every single difficulty.
To be fair, Bissy and Gur also have a map in every single difficulty too. But yeah, I don't want to hear that stuff. Let's go.
So yeah, you just cannot demo here because there's not enough dashes, so we have to go around to the left.
I'm sorry.
Unfortunately.
I'm sorry. Okay.
One of the things that annoyed me about this map is right here we go to a different world, but I was disappointed because the level's already over. Because I was like, oh, I wonder how the level's actually going to change things up, but no, it ends.
I do actually like those 2 end screens just because there's lots of corners that you can.
Oh
corner
yes, just keep this map.
So,
Just watch it.
I hope
It's
you like skips.
yeah, because
Yeah.
that's the entire.
And another one of those death warps.
Yep.
And,
This is the shortest map in the TAS.
Well, sorry, no, it's not the shortest map. It's the shortest task, and it's over.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people
Maybe
thought
like
that a lot of people thought that the gold time on this was a mistake because it was like minutes away from it. But yeah, you have to pretty much abuse that one little thing to get it, and it threw a lot of people off.
This map was reworked actually fairly recently, so yeah.
a lot of
that
cuts
was-
from this
Yeah, Fish saw it and he was like, this is unoptimal. Let me spend my entire day redoing the whole thing.
Yeah, shout outs to Fish for doing that.
Fish has done a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
going above and beyond.
one. Wasn't there? No, I'm thinking of a different one.
I think of Ancient Engine.
No.
Yeah, that map has been changed quite a bit since.
And recently as
Yeah.
well. And some stuff isn't included because it was done too late.
So I was talking about binocular clips earlier. We're about to see one coming up in the next room, I believe. Yeah,
in the next room.
Yeah.
And originally, actually, you know what, Kataiser, you can explain. Analog bino movement.
Okay, so there's a spike clip here. Binoculars, you can move them in analog directions.
What?
And originally, based on the movement that was done after the bino, it saved time to go, I think, something like 9 degrees up from...
Yeah.
I forget the number, but I did that saved time, and because of a strat change, it's now just holding right, which is sad.
Oh yeah, that was a diag demo through spinners, by the way, just in case you're wondering. And but yeah, it no longer saves time to do analog bino movement.
So how much more painful are feathers to do when wind's involved?
Honestly, not that much more painful.
Because I've heard people complain about it a ton.
I don't know why. It's feather because it's basically just a constant amount of velocity. So all it really changes is just that. It doesn't really change anything. I guess it since it's always applied. The only thing it really changes is that you might is that sometimes you want to be moving against it a bit because you want to be going right as much as possible, say, and you can just let it carry you, for instance.
If I'm remembering correctly, this was actually Marlin's first completed IL task. IL being individual level. I mean, he's an incredible runner, RTA, so it's not really surprising.
Yeah, I mean, he literally holds the world record, so I think
by like a pretty solid amount.
So those underwater demos only work
explain.
because in water you can demo twice in a row for some reason.
Oh, yeah, I don't know why. It's
that would not be possible without
Yeah, shout out to the bingo board just getting more and more filled as we say things. Alright, so this level was changed pretty recently. We're not going to see the changes. That wall bounce saves 1 frame, and I did it specifically because Sasha was complaining about a second barrier not being broken.
Did we ever explain wall bounces?
No. It's an intended mechanic where if you dash up and then jump against a wall, you get a little boost upwards and also
you also get a little boost.
There was a wall bounce right there, yep.
Yep. That's just weird. Huh?
I just wanted to hop in here with a quick update. We are just like $1 over 1,000 from that incentive being met.
We can do it, guys. Let's go.
Let's
Put
go.
those donations in.
Let's go, guys.
But yeah, also.
All right.
Let's go.
So
but yeah,
the
this map is actually. Yeah, it's a bit out of date because some improvements were released like I think yesterday.
Yeah, like
but it's yeah. But that just means that it's even cooler for a second showcase.
that binoculars, there's no point in doing that. It's just to waste time.
Swag. Yeah. We have to wait because of the dash.
Right. Hold on. I mean, we have 13 pages of notes for this. Let's see. We'll find something.
You're welcome.
Oh yeah, thank you, Kataiser just compiled so many notes.
Way too much.
Yeah. I've been talking a lot, so I've been trying to give them some time to.
Oh yeah, landing on that the thing next to the door. That was found pretty recently.
Yeah,
it saves quite a bit of time.
That new strat. You used to do death there. It turns out you can touch that coin just barely, and then you're actually in the electricity there on those moving blocks for a frame. But because the moving block moves you into the electricity, the hitbox check has already been done, so it doesn't kill you. There's some dashes here to activate the springs earlier.
Yeah, springs kill your horizontal speed. I mean, unless they're horizontal, but like vertical springs. But
Yeah, some maps you really can't do a lot to time save in, like this one. It really is just dash as soon as you can.
And just try to activate the springs earlier.
Yep.
You do get some speed there because of the way those blocks move.
Well, speaking of moving stuff.
Oh yeah.
So there's a jump off the wall, off the ceiling right there. Lots of cycles in this map. If you save time, a lot of people didn't want to work on this map because cycles basically. But
it's just yeah, there's a lot of stuff where if you you can just see, oh, that's an optimal, but then because there's some kind of cycle locked thing, there's just no point even improving it because it doesn't matter anyway.
Alright. So
this cycle skip in this room is new as of a few days ago.
ooh, I haven't seen that. Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah,
Very pretty.
I had nothing to do with it, but yeah, anyway.
Yeah, another death warp out of the after the after the button.
So listen to the sounds here when we go into this room right now. Those were dream block jumping sounds. If the last thing you jumped out of was a dream block and you jump off of water, the game still remembers the dream block and plays those sounds. Also, this TAS.
Before our last showcase, literally days before, I found a skip that saves 5 seconds or like 4 seconds, and then Vamp found even more stuff that saves like another 6 seconds. Yes, that's the skip.
That's amazing.
It's really precise. I just theorized it and I was like, hey, this might work, and people were like, maybe, because that's everything I
A
say.
little pause buffer there.
That was an instant delayed ultra. Do we want to explain this? We should.
Yeah,
And it's over. And it's over.
Yeah, they're a little complicated.
Delayed ultra. So
I guess we should explain the word delayed ultra is first.
Oh
yes.
Okay,
Oh,
sorry about that. For the past 5 minutes, my mic has been dead, and every single time I've been talking, I thought you've just all been talking over me.
Bah.
Sorry.
Dang.
Oh,
That's so
right.
sad.
I was wondering.
That is so
Turns out my
sad.
mic just died.
Okay,
Alright.
that would explain it.
Great
Yeah.
skip.
Yeah, this map is
Anyway.
really annoying to work on.
I don't know.
Just
It's
go through
kinda
the
cool.
puzzle there.
This map in particular, the strat on the next screen, that everybody thinks is a desync, but is not.
I mean, it was just implemented like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
right there, you go above the screen.
Grab the spawning crate.
Yeah. So that right there, that was not a desync. If you die on the same frame you touch a change respawn trigger, it'll change your respawn anyway. That was
The mapper
posted
just made
in,
it seep into the lightning, and you can just respawn on the other side of the lightning.
that was posted in like bug reports like a month before it was implemented, and I kind of expected it to be fixed.
So to quote Jax here, we don't play this level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
Wait.
this level.
See that?
Yeah.
There are tons of
This level.
inner
This level.
gaps that are perfect.
I am currently trying to optimize it, and there's actually even more weaving through spinners that's possible than you see here. So it's actually
Look forward to that.
yeah, look forward to that. It's even more broken than you think.
Other hitboxes are ever so slightly smaller than normal hitboxes, which allow you just go through spinners that have wide gaps. We have assumptions that the mapper made it intended, but you can never know.
Some of the ones that are in here, and some of the ones that I found, I don't think they're intended. They're just way too precise.
Ooh, this is an interesting map
I love
because
this
there's
map.
yeah.
Emeralds everywhere.
This map is really interesting because there are certain strats. Because dashes are considered, or because these bubbles are considered dashes, you can cancel them and then enter these dream blocks from areas you're not intended to, which allows you to skip certain sections.
There. Yeah, this-
A couple more. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this time.
We got Commander Nuffin with $5. It says Grandmaster Hype.
Let's go.
And then we got Cheese Soda Punch with $31. It says Celeste TAS Hype.
Indeed, let's go. Let's get
Okay,
those.
let's go.
You guys definitely want to see the Grandmaster.
Oh, I
You
can tell.
absolutely want to see it.
There's some fan favorites
Yeah,
in there.
if you want to see some speed, then wait around. Then you want to hit Grandmaster.
Yeah, the incentive is in expert and grandmaster difficulties, I believe.
Yep.
Okay.
So we gotta get there before we finish advanced.
Oh yeah, this task would likely be around 20 minutes slower if the demo dash wasn't a thing. Or roughly
wow.
around that.
This is
'Cause
the
they're-
longest
Makes
part.
sense.
They're used everywhere.
I mean, not just the demo hypers would not
Oh yeah,
be a
we
thing.
never explained those.
If you
So-
demo dash onto the ground, then when you jump, it's considered a hyper.
Yeah, that's used in almost every single map around at least every 3 seconds.
And it's a
Yeah.
very small optimization that you don't really notice when you're watching back, but when you're going frame by frame, it makes a big difference.
And just ditch
Yeah,
the jelly.
absolutely.
Don't need it.
Yeah, I routed with the jelly, but it's not.
Yeah.
It loses like half.
Jellies boost you, or all throwables boost you when you throw them in the opposite direction to the direction you throw them. So if you don't need a jelly anymore, it's optimal to just like throw it away from, like throw it behind you, so that you get more speed. Also, we do need to explain. So, oh yeah, delayed ultras. If you cancel the down diagonal dash, then you can conserve the speed. And also when it interrupts the dash,
check
and
closely
so when
here.
you land,
We have 2
get
dashes in
the-
this section, and then we just skip the trigger.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we have 2 dashes in the next room.
There's a delayed ultra coming up. I'll point it out when it happens.
yeah, and so when you land, you keep the speed, and then you also get the 1.2 times boost from the ultra that you would normally get.
But basically, the
That's- and
game,
it's still- yeah.
the game has a check where it asks, "Did Madeline dash downwards?" And if that's true, the next time you touch the ground, you'll just gain a speed boost. So that can be used like in almost every single map, and there's no limit on how long you can wait before you get that boost.
But actually, it's not
Right there.
it's not quite touch the ground, which is
Yeah,
a very
there's some
important
weird
distinction.
stuff with that, but it's beyond.
Goes into the ground, which is why instant delayed ultras are a thing. I'm not going to fully explain them, but basically, you pause buffer so that you can land it on moving blocks or moon blocks, yeah. And then that lets you hold jump for a frame, so you can be moving downwards and then you can land.
That's
But
what I
it's
meant
too technical
earlier.
to explain why it works.
That's what I meant earlier when I said you want to hold jump, but you don't actually want to jump. When you're at certain speed values, holding jump, or vertical speed values in specific, if you hold jump, you get like half gravity for a couple of frames, and
It's just a general game feel thing that the devs implemented.
Yeah.
Oh, you hold jump, you jump for longer.
yeah.
And that gets abused in the task for subpixel manipulation, which I don't think
yeah.
we've even said subpixels once.
Yeah.
Yeah, subpixels are like a thing. It's like it feels like a very tassing thing. Say just the word subpixels. Yeah.
There's good reason for subpixels to exist because it makes the movement and feel of the game much more better. But it makes tasking a nightmare.
Well, not really a nightmare because
It actually makes it more
so many
interesting,
things.
personally.
Yeah, it makes it significantly more interesting because if there weren't subpixels, a lot of this would be so much
Like
worse.
easier to optimize.
It would be easier to optimize, but it would also be significantly slower.
And it would just be like less precise.
Yeah.
You can't do a lot of things.
I'm not going to explain what subpixels are, or what subpixel manipulation is, because it's kind of self-explanatory. And honestly, if you want to learn more about it, just join the Discord and try tassing for yourself, because
Just do it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'd say
yeah, do that anyway. Yeah.
if you're looking for a game to like start tassing, you're like, wow, this looks really cool, but I don't know. There's a lot of software and everything. Celeste is really, really easy and intuitive to get into, so
Yeah,
it's a really good game to start out with.
Yeah, you can do it on Windows as opposed to, you know, needing. You don't need any emulators. You just need Everest.
The replayability
Yeah.
is insane. I think the last time I played vanilla was in April, and I have clocked in over an extra 1,000 hours on this game just from the mods alone. And that doesn't even include you can just speedrun the base game for over 1,000 hours, and then play mods for as long as you want.
Forever.
This game is really massive if you let it be.
Celeste is a little bit good sometimes.
Yeah, my I know that I put in over like my hours before tassing were like 200, and then after tassing is like 1,500.
Jesus.
Yeah, I love the Celeste community because there's so much duality on what you can choose to do. You can be a playtester, you can be a modder, you can be a spriter, you can be a
an artist.
tasser. Yeah.
Be an
Just like-
RTA speedrunner.
Basically, if you can breathe, there's gonna be something that you're gonna fit in with our community, really. So
There's something for everybody.
This
Oh, yeah,
task
by the way, something to mention about this task, or just things in general. So for falling blocks, it's optimal to, when you activate them, you want to immediately release them because they fall fast if you do that. The original version of this task didn't do that, and so it had to be completely redone. But yeah, that's why you see people, you see Marlin like jump off things after activating them, is just because then they fall much faster.
Yeah, the devs implemented that just so people can't recover as easily, because it's a falling block.
Yeah.
right, it's supposed to add some difficulty.
This is the best dashless map.
I
Corner
wish
snap.
you could skip this trigger, but it's really, really wide.
Do you want to explain the dashless movement in this map?
Yeah, I guess.
It seems hard to explain. Like there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, no, it's just there was just lag on mine.
I'm not gonna be explaining ghost blocks because I don't.
we don't
Ghost
need
blocks.
to.
Oh,
It's
yeah, you kind of just most
Yeah,
multiple
you should-
balance means
You should
weird
wait. Yeah.
weird stuff.
You'll
It's
see.
just weird.
Boss
So just
battle.
keep a close eye out. Don't blink.
It's this
The,
one.
the blink. And yeah, that's the thing.
So
It's multiple battlins. They move blocks weird, and if you can teleport. And that's as much as I'm gonna explain because I don't fully
Yeah.
understand it, and I don't want to fully understand it. To
I
be honest,
barely understand them, and even then, I think they're annoying and are not really used anywhere.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw them spending hours trying to explain how it worked in the TAS channel in the Discord, and it just didn't make any sense.
It's just really weird. But yeah, the dashless movement. There's a lot of things
this
to
is
do
really
with like
precise.
activating falling blocks and stuff. It's quite difficult to route, and it's very long. Yeah, what I was saying before, I guess about the double corner boost. So the one of the optimal ways to gain speed is to jump, and then to double corner boost, because then you essentially just triple corner boost, but not really, because when you jump you gain
Yeah,
Plus
watch
40
the
speed
Seeker.
for that.
Watch the Seeker.
and then you
Did die.
Rip.
and he dies.
Yeah, and then they.
Big rip.
How rude.
Oh,
Rip,
wait,
no.
hold on. Was the camera like messed up there?
Yeah, that's what happens when a bird is close to a screen transition.
Yeah, or if
Ooh,
you just
super
go
dashing.
really fast.
Oh, super dashing. Yeah. So I recently worked on this. Super dashing is very weird. It's very cool. Basically,
So
thank you for
after-
creating this map. Please make another one.
Yeah, after the
Um,
game came out, the devs implemented like variants, which are just extra things that you can do to spice up the game. One of
So-
them is super dashing, which extends the length of your dashes.
And also, importantly, allows you to redirect your speed or to change the yeah, that feather boost was very large. But basically,
Wait.
if you and the level's already over, you can redirect your speed. So if you diagonal dash, you can then redirect the speed away. And also, we have a donation.
Yes, yes.
Am I
we do.
right?
Let's go.
Yep.
So
We got a Thomas 250 for. And the comment reads, "Thanks for the showcase of the Celeste fan content, and thanks to the original team for making that community possible.
Yo, thank
Love
you.
to see that. It's been so inspiring for so many folks."
There's some rooms in this particular map that are the reason why the bingo square, your game is not lagging, or your stream is not lagging, that's the game. Because basically when you dash, the game has 3 freeze frames, and all of those bubbles count as dashes. So
I mean, I don't think we've explained why the game freezes. I think it's meant to be a leniency thing to where
right.
the devs implemented it so you can actually dash accurately, because people were complaining that they were dashing the wrong direction because they pressed the direction after their dash. So the devs made it so the game freezes, so it becomes much easier to direct for your dashes.
And it's a very nice feature.
Oh, yeah, we get a bit of speed here.
Abuse.
Moving blocks are very broken.
Yes.
That's just the theme of most Celeste TAS'es.
Yes, absolutely. Should I explain more about the super dashing tech? I'll do that at the hot side because there's a super dash section there.
yeah, you have like 5 seconds there.
Yeah, it's fine.
Whole 5 seconds.
Yeah, more. So
Yeah.
we used to get that red bubble. Now we don't.
Yeah.
Speaking of bubbles, at
Yeah,
the end of
so-
this room, we used to get. We used to go all the way back to the bottom of this room after completing it.
I mean, that is the intended way, but TAS does not like the intended way.
So we instead, and this was an RTA strat that was just not known to us TASers because we don't really play RTA that much.
Yeah, that's
Most people-
happened a
most
couple times.
Yeah.
That saves a lot, I think.
A lot of time.
What really sucks about this mod is that most of the maps are like 40 to a minute, like 40 seconds to a minute, and it makes it so difficult to commentate on what's happening because it's already
Right.
over by the time you've done explaining it.
That's why I've just been trying to rapid fire commentate, and a lot of that has caused some overlap.
It's a 2-hour
Yeah.
task, but it happens very quickly.
Yes. It's also
There's so
hard
many
to vibe
mechanics
to all
to
the
each
tunes.
levels.
2 hours roughly. We'll see the end time, but yeah.
Of course, if we get the other 2
Yes.
difficulties.
Yeah, we gotta
Exactly.
get it, guys. Get
Oh,
your
yeah.
donations
What's
in.
the
Let's
update?
go.
The next
Update on that?
room
Yeah.
is very. The
Yeah,
speed
so-
that you have to enter with a very specific speed so that you can turn around and lose a bit of speed before collecting the feather. And it doesn't look that precise, but it is.
And
You
so-
can't have any other speed.
Yeah,
than
this
that.
right here, this jelly, we're supposed to have it with us right now, but you can just ditch it and finish the
Yeah.
room.
Jellies are pretty slow.
It's-
Skipping them is almost always worth it.
Yeah, and especially the throwables. So
So you're supposed to have the
picking
jelly
up
right
and-
here, but you can just gain some speed and jump across this gap.
Yeah,
you're
so that
picking
was
up and we also gain some speed here.
A little bit.
more
Love it.
ultras.
Yeah, just a bit.
Just some
Yeah.
speed.
Some speed. But yeah, throwables, when you pick them up and you throw them as well, there's essentially kind of freeze frames from picking them up and throwing them down, except that it isn't actually lag, so the timer still counts, which is why throwables are so slow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
DP Uncle
there's
Matt.
a lot of. There's some stuff in this map that is almost possible.
That sounds like a lot of the TAS'es.
That sounds like everything that I've looked at pretty much, where it's just because that was really my job, was just to make sure there weren't like any big things we were missing.
So we skipped the whole left side of the bottom of that room, and also all of the coins with an upright demo and just being good.
If you haven't played Glyph, go play it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes,
Glyph is
Glyph is a
must.
custom map, and it's very good.
Oh, this map got completely destroyed by
Yeah.
Alright, let's do
this poor map.
By myself.
Shoutouts to this strat where you go through the wrong way because you hit this coin and then you're right next to the door.
Yeah, this map is very that saves quite a lot of time, and then it got improved several times after. So we saved like a second or two in that room alone.
Kataiser, remember that XNA FNA desync right here?
Yes, I did. Of course I did. Yeah, I'll really quickly explain FNA desyncs. There are two versions of this game. They run with different backends, but they're the same game. TAS'es sync on them 99.9% of the time, but very occasionally, it's very precise and difficult to deal with.
Right.
Desync will arise. I'm usually the one that deals with those.
It's usually because of how numbers are rounded, where FNA and XNA will round numbers differently.
Yeah, if you want to scare a TAS, just say floating point imprecision. Yeah.
So this map doesn't have any neutrals, but the TAS just doesn't care.
Neutrals are explicitly.
Neutrals are slow anyway, so
yeah.
We try to avoid them as much as possible, regardless.
So let's talk about these skips. So that skip skips like a full room and a half or something like that. It's just a wall bounce. It's pretty easy. I've done it RTA. Apparently that's a skip too, but that's just what I did casually.
And there's also a skip there.
Yep, that one's also possible.
I think you're supposed to go around to the right. I think all these skips are RTA viable.
Oh yeah, most of them are.
Yeah, in RTA, neutrals are an easy way to say that you can infinitely climb a wall without stamina or having to grab it, so that's why it's disabled in that
That's
map.
why they get disabled.
Oh, there's gonna be, in this room, a 4-frame B-hop. Basically, if you're underneath the platform, and then you use something called coyote time, where after walking off a ledge, you can jump.
It actually doesn't use coyote time, it's just you reach the peak of your hyper before you leave the block.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so you can't skip this section because the mapper loves to make 3-pixel gaps with the spinners.
I spent so long trying to find some sort of skip, and I got decently close, but never quite found it.
So this map is called Noom. We haven't gotten a lot of Noom up to this point. We've gotten a decent
Now
amount.
we've got some.
Now we've
Some right there.
Yeah. So
there as their
yeah,
constant.
the reason why we didn't get killed by those spinners is because they just weren't on screen, because the screen was not scrolling fast enough.
Something that the devs implemented was, if there's a ton of spinners on screen, usually they can cause a lot of lag. So if
especially on consoles.
if spinners are far enough away off screen, the collision just doesn't load, so it saves performance.
Yeah, it was initially added because of consoles apparently, and yeah, the devs never thought that it would be used in this way, but it is. That sums up a lot of things the TAS does. The devs never thought that it would be used in this way, but it is.
I think it's really cool that they've just been so supportive of TASing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have our own section of the official Celeste Discord. If you guys are interested and want to join.
Yeah, that's the hub for everything. I'd also like to point out that we're, I think, a little over halfway into advanced difficulty. Next up is expert, and that is incentive locked, and we are about $800 away from that. So go do that.
Let's get those donuts.
Do we have
I know
any
you guys can do it.
donations we want to talk about?
Yeah, I got one more from Lat Mackie. It's $10. Thank you to the entire TAS community for putting on a great show and supporting a great cause.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, so right here, you can just carry the jelly through a dream block because leniency, and TAS loves to abuse that.
Yep.
It's possible, RT. That's my contribution, apparently.
Yeah, usually a couple of frames after your dash ends, you can still enter a dream block, so you can use that time to grab a jelly and just bring it with you. It saves a decent bit of time.
You can almost skip this jelly.
But not quite.
Well, you can skip it, but you can't continue the room.
So, ending off that level.
That's next to the death button map.
Oh yeah, this map.
Let's go. Everyone's
shout out
favorite.
to the. There's a skip in this map that was found on day 3, but it was found RTA, and TAS'es didn't know about it, so I ended up rediscovering it. I'll mention when that happens.
Oh yeah, so this map heavily relies on neutrals, like unlike the other map. Yeah, Dadbud, I'd love to see you do this map without neutrals.
I think I have to like go to the bathroom really quick. I'll be back.
And more demo dash abuse.
Oof.
Yeah, these neutrals, it looks like there's not much ways you can improve them, but sometimes if you change the placement of neutrals, it can matter.
Yeah, because then you can land much earlier.
Yep.
Mind if I hop in here real quick?
Yeah.
Got an update on that incentive. We have about $100 left.
Let's go, guys. $100
So let's
bucks.
get it in there.
I see it.
Go over the screen.
Dang. Dad abuse.
And skip the bubble because bubbles are slow.
Yes, they kill all your speed.
But yeah, this used to be the shortest TAS, but then flooded waterways got tasked.
But it's still pretty short, obviously. So we skip it back and forth there. And then there are a lot of times where we just go through spinners like that.
Yeah, you can crouch jump out of a dream block and carry it through spinners.
If you demo into the dream block. Well, that was just a jump, but you know.
And it's already over.
And it's over. Guys,
Yeah.
75 bucks to go. Who's got Dad on a couple bucks? Let's go. Let's hit this goal here in the next like 10 minutes, because that's about all we have left.
This level we need infinite stamina because of a bug in the helper mod. So it uses jumps every frame.
As you can see, there's 2 players on screen, and the way they implemented that was hackily, quote unquote, adding in an extra input system, which doesn't like to play well with TAS'es.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out that just because it's done hackily doesn't mean it's very, very hard to add a second player to the game. The code just does not support it. So it's not as easy as just, hey, modder, fix the mod. You know?
Yeah, fixing the climb jump every frame thing is very difficult due to the way that it checks stuff. So,
yeah, no reason to disrespect the modder. They made Ahorn.
Yeah, it's very difficult to implement, and that bug is very difficult to fix.
Oh, we've lost time.
Oh.
We can cope. Oh, so this map.
Girl Skies time.
Very route dependent.
This seems like a nightmare to TAS. Like
It is.
It's made slightly easier by the fact that the coins take a little bit to activate, but it's still pain.
we like pain sometimes, right? That's why we're all playing Celeste.
Yeah. If we didn't like pain, I wouldn't have.
We're all
Alright,
secretly
alright,
missing this.
Tyran's his internet cut out, so hopefully we'll get him back soon. Yeah, so a lot of the routing for this is just going back and forth and trying to hit as many of these as possible.
Yeah, you want to activate them. You want to hit each coin as soon as possible. So because it takes time for it to move around. The earlier you hit it, the earlier you can re-hit it. So you want to make sure that you hit that there's as little delay between the activations as possible.
And I think Easel is next.
Rhythm Realm.
Let's go.
Yeah, so every single time you dash, we've talked about how the game freezes for 3 frames. Well, if you have something that's related to rhythm, having the game randomly pause can really mess up the beat, which is why the cycles actually still continue when you are in dash state. So the objective in tassing cassette blocks is to dash as much as you possibly can.
If you're waiting, of course.
Are on global cycles, which means the cycles, unlike pretty much every other cycle in the game, is not reset when you load into the room. It continues from the previous room.
Yeah, so make an improvement on one screen and you just have to spend a couple of hours syncing the next room.
Yeah, every time I open this TAS up, I was like, no. That death warp gets you a better cycle. And then sitting in the waterfalls there. So the waterfalls, I think, are color coded, and they speed up or slow down the cycles just for convenience. RTA, I believe.
But we can abuse that to get things to move faster or slower, to skip further into a cycle.
No, it's less abusing it and more using it like you're supposed to.
Well, I mean, as in, like, I don't think you're supposed to wait for ages to...
So here we get a bunch of boosts off this moon block, so we can jump inside of the electricity over here, and then boost back onto the block.
Yeah, so moon blocks are moving blocks as well, so you can chain, and since they move, that means that you can chain multiple corner boosts, and they will also give you boosts from the block.
This is the yeah. All right, this is the last level in advanced.
Well, other than the hot side.
Well, yeah,
So
the last regular map.
get those donos in, guys.
They're already in.
Got some good news on that.
Yep. All right, let's hear it.
The incentive has been met.
Let's
Dang.
go.
Whoa, let's go!
Yo, thanks, guys.
Got
We did
25 from Emmy Pup says let's get more Celeste. 25 from Ellen. This is congrats to everyone on the TAS. And an anonymous $75 donation that pushed us over the edge.
Yo, thank you, Anonymous.
So this map used to be desynced for a very long time because of the jump through patch. And one thing that Tassers hate to sync is Seekers.
Seekers are the worst. That's really all you need to know about them. Their
There's
pathfinding
hardly
is
any
really weird.
documentation.
The pathfinding is really weird. The movement is really weird. Everything about them is really weird and slow. More so than pretty much anything else in the game in terms of routing.
At this point in the lobby, we restart chapter. That's done like twice, I think.
Yeah, that's the beginner.
It's not always faster, but in this case, it puts you closer to the hard side, and that's worth the time save.
So, since we're going into the hard side, I'd like to take a moment to explain a little bit about how the super dashing works. So with super dashing, it's you can redirect the angle of the super dash in the middle of the dash. What this means is that since you conserve speed when you do a diagonal dash, you conserve your horizontal speed. So you can, if you do a dash and then you diagonal dash out of that, then you can conserve all of that speed. But then you also have 169 extra speed that you can redirect into more horizontal speed, which you can then dash out of again and then redirect again, and then you can just stack that and then just gain 170 speed every single time you dash, pretty much.
For context, 90 is walking speed and 240 is dashing speed.
Oh yeah, I forgot we didn't.
So you have a ballpark understanding of what best speeds are.
Does the redirect speed become faster if you're moving at a faster horizontal speed?
Yes, because the angle change, is a change in the angle, not a change in the speed. So it changes it by 4 degrees every frame. So if you're moving at higher speeds, your speed will change faster because it needs to move faster so that you still move 4 degrees.
So there used to be a random death warp here, and it always scared me into desynking, but thankfully they removed it.
Yeah, so
and it saves like half.
So this space up here, you can get up there with unloaded spinners, and when somebody discovered that during development, the mapper saw it, and instead of patching it out, they decorated the out of bounds section.
That's great.
Yeah, I think that was Holly.
Love Holly.
Hi guys.
Yo, welcome back.
Yeah, Tyran's back by the way.
My internet just decided, hey, what if I just shut off during your showcase?
That's beautiful.
That too.
Imagine internet problems in a TAS showcase. That would never happen to me.
Okay, so that was advanced difficulty, which means we're now on to expert. This is now incentive stuff.
Yeah, thank you guys again for all your donations going to a really awesome cause.
So we met it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright, nice.
This is where things start to get
fast.
Yeah, and difficult.
Even more wild.
Oh, this level. There's a particular skip in here that I had theorized for months before it was found. Particularly in this room. It's called Loop-de-Loop Scoop, or not Scoop, Skip. we're calling that Scoop from now on. Alright,
Yep.
it's...
Oh.
That skip's having to do like a whole thing where you go around in a circle. Because essentially these gates that are dark, they toggle you between 1 and 2 dashes.
That's basically the main mechanic of this map, and it creates puzzles based around it, but TAS doesn't like to complete puzzles the intended way.
TAS does not respect puzzles.
TAS doesn't respect
Anybody.
He doesn't respect anyone.
Did a lot of scoop to this jelly, and then delayed ultra to keep it.
We almost die.
Okay, so there's a lot of movement after.
Oh yeah, so we do some instant delayed ultras, and a translation to that is go very fast on moon blocks.
Yeah, it's a combination of the 3 fastest pieces of tech in the game.
Well, cycle madness time.
Alright, watch this closely.
Very closely. Shout out to DK putting this one together. This was crazy. Oh.
And the RoboMan for improving it.
Yeah, RoboMan.
Lmjacks as well. So those were all crouch jumps through spinners, just done in a row.
And crouch jumps are significantly harder to get to work than regular demo dashes.
They're significantly more useful because you keep your speed and your dash.
The reason why they're harder than just regular demo dashes is because if you're moving downwards, you'll automatically uncrouch. So you have to be moving upwards, but moving upwards slow enough that you don't move into the spinners.
Yeah, so it's a combination of vertical and horizontal sub-pixel minute. It's which is hard, which is always difficult.
Yeah, these are dust bunnies. They're just reskin spinners. Also, they move.
Oh, and the ones that move around have different hitboxes, but
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Slightly broken hitboxes. That would be useful a bit.
So here's a pocketbook, like a textbook example of how building up ultras can give a ton of speed with a bunch of downright dashes.
Oh yeah. Wait, was that a grounded ultra?
Yep, it was a grounded ultra into a cutscene.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh yeah, cutscenes interrupt.
Yeah.
Interrupt dashes. Cancel dashes. Oh yeah, this we gain but when we return to that first screen, you gain a lot of speed in the water, and then it only saves a frame because you instantly go into a bubble in the next screen and you lose all of your speed.
Yeah. So you carried in the previous room, you carried a jelly through a bubble. You can do that, but you can't pass bubble immediately. You have to wait a few frames.
And death warp just to get back because the mapper didn't put a respawn point at the end.
Oh really?
So right here you get a ton of speed and it only saves like 2 frames because you immediately kill the speed.
Yeah, it's
best strat.
So the main thing about optimizing this is just figuring out the bottlenecks with jelly movement, because trying to optimize throwing movement is quite difficult and people don't like looking at it.
That's a lot of like tassing in general. Like if I had one piece of advice, I'm the last person who should be giving advice on like good tassing.
Micro optimization. Yeah, you're not really the person to.
Yeah. So that's not even like an insult. That's just true.
Yeah, you don't like it, which is fair.
I mean, I've always been macro optimizing, which means that I just look at something and try to route it differently.
Yeah, I'd say I'm definitely someone who likes to micro-optimize a lot. It's, I think, as advice, I think figuring out what the bottlenecks are is definitely is probably one of the most important things to do.
It applies regardless of whether you're doing micro or macro optimization.
Yeah, definitely. Figuring out, it doesn't matter if my height doesn't matter here, so I should just jump as early as possible or something like that.
So this TAS, by the way, there's a TAS happening in front of y'all.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This one got redone. You have to wait for zippers a lot here, but sometimes you don't.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite movement where we can keep a dash here and then go under the block to skip that section and then climb jump on the underside of a block known as a ceiling pop. Ceiling pops are a little weird where if you grab a block and then fall off of it, you can jump underneath the block essentially. We just get a little bit of speed.
Here we go, trenches.
Alright, so this is one of the first maps actually made for the collab, but it was one of the last maps to get tasked because everybody refused to task it.
I wonder why.
Reminds me of another map.
This is a really cool TAS though. It's hard to work, but it ended up really cool because the way these electricity barrier or the combination of barriers and stuff in this map is just a little bit broken. Not for RTA really, but TAS has a lot of places where we can look at out-of-the-bounds stuff or 1 pixel gaps for things and just drop jellies there or go over the top of things.
Don't know why the devs made electricity 1 pixel smaller than the hitbox is, but I think it was for leniency.
It's really nice because it basically gives you tons of different skip opportunities, and you can get back.
We didn't explain the lava. I guess we should wait until a map that actually happens in next. But you might have seen us wall bounce on lava or jump off lava. The reason for that is because the wall is
Strat coming up.
Lava is actually basically just a wall, and then it's something that kills you. So if you're far enough away from it, it just treats it as a wall, and you can climb, you can wall bounce, you can jump. That's why that's a thing.
So right here, we just go over the level, and the mapper didn't care to patch it out.
Delayed ultra that you didn't even get to see.
That was sick.
Yeah, fortunately, the TAS mod has support for a number of things, including centering the camera on Marlin.
Oh yeah, that's key. Because if you couldn't do that, you'd just be going in blind.
Ultra sandwich time.
All right.
On the map.
So this map was actually made by Dahlukeh, which was the main tasking captain, which kept track of the progress on the tasks and assigned different tasks to everybody.
This is what. If you're wondering what happens when a TASer makes a map, this is what happens.
Yeah.
Yep. You'll. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to hype this up, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah. All right. Don't blink.
Don't blink.
And we're done.
God, I love watching this.
Oh, and bear in mind that is not the fastest speed we get.
Not close.
It's this particular map is leveraging a lot of lightning abuse. Right there was one example where we get our dash back by landing on the outermost pixel of that ledge. Yeah.
We do a super off that gap. We haven't explained supers.
Supers are hypers, but they go higher.
You have yet to explain supers.
So they're like
a super is like a hyper. A super is like a hyper, except you move slower, but you jump a normal height.
It's dashing.
Pretty much it.
Usually they're completely outclassed by hyper B hops.
Yeah.
I like how we're struggling the most to explain like the most basic of tech.
It's a little bit of a frazzled commentary, but that's okay.
Yeah, it makes it better. All right.
I could do a much better job.
Yeah, this map used to be. I wish Mlseg was here so he could have lose his sanity over it. But this map was really laggy at some point in development. I never saw it, but
So it just
bumper
take
side of green blocks.
This map,
made it hard
we
to tell.
actually wrote a brute forcing program to find a specific X value, which allowed you to. Yeah.
I was like, hey, is this possible? And then it.
Yeah, so but there was a jump, there was a spike jump, so a spike climb rather. So a spike climb is the concept of being inside of spikes while moving away from them and also going upwards. Spikes don't kill you in this game if you're not moving towards them. If you get a very, very low speed value and precise positioning as well, you can go pretty high before you are forced to leave the spikes.
That's a 12-frame spike climb, which is absurd.
It was not possible originally. Well, Tyran tried it and got very, very close. So I wrote a piece of software that is translated movement code from Celeste, looking at a combination of decompiled stuff and what's publicly available on GitHub, and translated it to Python, and then wrote a brute force program that simulates random inputs and sorts them by however you want to sort them. And that's how I managed to make that spike climb possible. It saves a grand total of 11 frames.
Yeah.
It's the thing I'm most proud of in this entire test.
Also, photosensitive warning.
Oh yeah, like seriously, there's some visual filters that can be visually
Jarring.
Yeah.
Yeah. To say that,
So
I know that's an understatement.
If you're
But
prone to like epilepsy or something similar,
close your eyes
just-
for like 15 seconds.
Yeah, we have sensitive mode on, but it's not enough. So just don't watch.
we'll tell
This
you when
level.
it's over.
Yeah.
Shout out to 7D Flag 2. Because my man loves it. This
Oh yeah, there's
this movement right here looks very slow, but we haven't figured out how to improve it.
that is one of the parts of the task that has always bothered me.
So,
That's a
tried
cool
to.
demo right there.
so coming up here, there's more vertical screen transition abuse because it reaches ever so slightly out of that ledge.
Yeah, so that looks like a vertical screen transition. It's actually not. You're actually entering from the right or from the left side of that screen. And so we do corner boost to enter faster.
And coming up here, the mapper left some tiles floating out of ground for some reason, which allow us to skip the whole screen.
Alright, if you didn't come
I
in.
think the photosensitive part is over.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
guys-
open your eyes now. It's
Yeah.
good.
Also, we have some donors.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes,
this
we
is...
do.
Let's hear them.
Alright.
All right. We've got $20 from an anonymous person that says, one of the fundamental elements of TAS is how it does not adhere to any specific style of gameplay for any reasonable period of time. We've got a $9 donation from Test that says, I have pizza, I have pineapple. Pin pineapple pizza pin.
Thank you.
Got a couple more also.
We should
I'm sorry.
explain. We should explain these.
Yeah.
Jank blocks.
Really fast
Possibly
moving
about
blocks.
donors. They're fast moon blocks. Yeah. So moon blocks move when you dash into them.
Yeah, basically they edited these blocks to move really fast.
Yeah.
That's all you
pretty
need to
much.
know. Now I want pizza.
Busy map. Let's
I
go.
want pizza as well.
This is such a good looking map.
Oh yeah, this is really interesting looking map. Oh. Isn't there like a frame there where you're like almost completely in the electricity?
That's coming up.
Yeah, I'll
Oh.
talk. Well, it got redded out because of a better piece of tech. But yeah, I had my notes for this is fish and skips because we skip a lot of fish. I don't know. I was like,
That's actually pretty funny. Because like fish and chips, I love it.
The main mechanic of this map is using these
making me hungry.
zippers to move around these fish to set up puzzles, but we hate puzzles because we're tassing.
yeah. So that right there is I have it listed. So it's a demo hyper and then a grab jump off the side with the spikes, and that allows you to keep the horizontal speed of that block and also get, I believe, jump vertical speed. Did I say that correctly? It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
that
we
allows
also
you
do it in
to skip a fish, and because that fish is enabled, you can, use it.
This map right here, for the most part, is done intended, as far as I remember.
No, it's not.
Oh.
So yeah,
right.
Part it is, but coming up, there's a skip right there. That's very easy.
Yeah, this is what happens when your TAS is 2 hours long. Not everybody gets to see every single frame.
And there's a skip right
Yeah, I've looked at this TAS and I didn't. Big
Every
smart.
TAS the same small section of that thing over and over. Never saved any time.
Skip that entire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Made quick work of Dad Bod.
I hope you like us breaking your maps. No, actually.
Is this the first time you've seen the TASes of your maps, Deadbud?
I haven't seen that one.
So shoutouts to this map, which was the last to be drafted because we forgot it existed.
Actually, no. So about 3 months after the deadline closed for maps to be submitted, we had a mapper come in, asking if they could include their map, and we reluctantly said yes because the mapper had helped out with lobby and heartside development.
A ton.
Yeah.
Shout out to Index for all the help.
Mhm.
Came in super late game.
Yeah, and nobody has touched it basically after the first draft because throwables.
Just not fun sometimes.
Yeah, I saved 18 frames a week ago, and I hated syncing every second of it.
It's like yesterday.
Beautiful.
Anyway, so up next is, first of all,
This is a good one.
in the lobby right there. Second
Oh, yeah.
of all, best map in the collab.
Yeah, we've saved about a minute off of the first draft because of crazy skips.
Yeah, so this map is really open, which means that there's a lot of edges that just don't have walls on them, which means that there are tons of unintended screen transitions that you can enter. So we're going to see the first of those coming up pretty soon in the next room, I believe.
Another textbook example of trying to dash as much as possible to make the cycle expand.
Yeah, so
What's
what's going on there is basically these blocks are hard-coded to always sync up with the music. So if you dash, you cause the game to freeze and the timer to freeze, but you don't cause the music to freeze. And so the music keeps progressing and you save time.
But yeah, this also uses the you can skip the entire room here.
Yeah, with a cassette
But
boost.
this also uses the stop and my brain is not working. It is too late. This also uses the slow down, speed up stuff, and so sometimes we wait a bit in certain places to wait till we're further in a cycle until we slow down the cycle. Oh yeah, we actually go through spikes the wrong
right here.
way round, right there. And that works.
If you have enough speed to cross a hazard in a single frame, the game just lets you go past the hazard.
Right, because you're basically on one side on one frame and then on the other on the next.
Alright, so we have some donations apparently?
Yes, indeed we do. Make sure I haven't got any more. Yeah, so we got $1 hype. Ray Sama was allowed to take over this comment. Help, I'm trapped behind a computer screen without pizza. Sure wish I had some donations to moderate. Also, amazing job on this run and commentary, guys. And that was from chat. And then I also got 25 from Coburn. You can always rally on Team TASBot to bring quality TAS runs. Stay a while and watch him smash through all these button presses. Maybe show off a little too. Everyone is awesome here.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So in this map, remember the old core map that had dust bunnies in it with the double dash mechanic? Well, you can do a quote-unquote sequence break by leaving the section without returning through another one of those double dash triggers. So now we can just do the whole level with 2 dashes.
Yeah,
which saves a lot of time.
Yeah, not even the most overpowered trigger skip in the TAS.
Well, there's another.
That's the one I'm referring to.
This level, in particular, has some interesting routing later on.
I believe, yeah, this was the last map to get TAS'ed.
Yeah.
We were just waiting on this to get done before we had our first final draft.
Took a long time, but it turned out really well.
We finished our first draft around mid-October and have saved at least 3.5 minutes since that first draft.
And that's
crazy.
And that's not even including the fact that we saved time on maps before the first draft was even complete.
Oh yeah.
So if we were talking about like, I don't even know how much time we saved in terms of the first draft.
Yeah, so using a demo here, we can go out of bounds and basically.
I discovered that and then reported it, and I regretted it because some of the mappers didn't particularly take kindly, obviously.
Well, actually, no, I think the mappers were fine with it not getting patched, but Bissy wanted it to be patched.
Yeah, Bissy was really upset. I mean, to be fair, it is ridiculous.
Bit of speed there.
Yeah, big speed.
Oh yeah, I don't think we've mentioned yet, those blue and brown blocks are called Kevins because the sound developer is named Kevin, and he's voicing those blocks.
Yeah. I think he was just like garbling water or something.
But yeah, so that lightning there would have been incredibly loud, but we have a mod that lowers the sound effects for lightning.
Shoutouts to you.
Yeah,
for,
so no, those. Yeah, so lightning is a very, very loud sound effect in the base game for a good reason. It only happens once. But modders kind of abuse that. Mappers, really. So I wrote, well, I didn't write, I made a mod that turns the volume of the lightning sound down by 9 decibels.
Nice.
Alright, so Grandmaster.
Grandmaster time.
Grandmaster!
So one small thing to mention was there was a bug found where if you enter a map but die on like the same frame you enter the map, you can actually press the return to lobby button well inside the lobby, which kind of messes things up. If you try to return to lobby well in the lobby, it spawns you at coordinates 0, which in this map is right over the heart side.
Yeah,
the only problem is that 0, is one tile inside of the wall, so Madeline gets stuck. So if the map was just one tile to the right, we could skip every single level in Grandmaster and head straight to the heart side.
That was fun for the day before it was fixed. Because it was going to cause problems in other maps.
So this map has battle and chasers, but you hardly ever get to see them on screen.
Yeah. Shout out to Lanvilla for making such a good first draft. It's really not been touched that much just because it's really, really quality.
Yeah, people have struggled to see.
I'd like to point out something here. The hearts are purple in this in the GM'd maps because it's a reference to the D sides by Monica. Shout out to those in her.
Yo.
Oh, the Hack 90. Yeah, this is a core star map with only 2 dashes. Tyran, you found some stuff.
Oh yeah. There's a funny story here.
So TASers don't like to play the Grandmaster maps because it takes a lot of time.
And I'm bad at video games.
Yeah.
So yeah, that can cause a couple of problems when it comes to routing.
So I saved 3 seconds here by realizing that this
there's a jump
pretty
through
much multiple people had looked at that level and missed that, and so there was this really slow, awful strat that we used to do, and that's just like infinitely better.
I just didn't see, I routed this initially and with some help from Vamp, and neither of us saw the existence of that jump through.
Well, I had looked at that map previous times, and I had not seen that jump through either. So
Also,
so we
it's actually through some lightning in the previous room, but it ends up being slower because you have to go around into the strawberry room.
So this map, so we had at least 4 people work on it, and just
5.
yeah, 4 people worked on it, and they just completely gave up because they just couldn't find a good way to optimize the routes that they wanted to take. So we actually had Marlin come in later, and he tasked the whole thing.
Yeah. Shout out to Marlin.
Yeah, this
So I
map
hope you like the music to this.
Oh yeah.
If we could turn up the game volume just for this one map, that would be
Yeah.
if that's the thing that can be done.
I just had the biggest grin when I first opened up this map.
Yeah, well, the beginner map for me, because I actually played beginner and definitely not GM. I am not good. Nobody here is good enough for GM except you, Dannnn.
I mean, I played all of GM.
Never mind. I am.
You just insulted Vamp.
I did. I'm sorry.
Dang.
I thought I was correct.
Vamp's thinking like, I'm way the hell better than Dadbod, which is true.
I mean, I actually made the Grandmaster gym.
Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's neat.
You did. I saw.
Yeah, but it's easy to make a gym about tech when you're a TASer.
I guess. Yeah.
So here's quite possibly one of the most beautifully decorated maps.
Oh yeah, this map looks gorgeous.
Shout out to Moon.
Yeah, there's
also one of the longer collab TAS'es. Not the longest. That was claustrophobia.
Yeah,
these crystals are on a set timer, so when you grab them, I think they blow up 6 seconds later, and they're used to break these red barriers. But the crystals instantly blow up if they touch a jelly barrier.
Yeah, we actually had a custom barrier made specifically for that, so it wasn't actually a jelly barrier. We had to have something custom made for it, which was really awesome. The coding team did a fantastic job putting that together like ASAP.
Well, yeah, Marlin was so confident in this task that he had actually challenged Fish to save 1 frame.
And then he saved like 5.
Whoa.
So, another example of us getting a crap ton of speed, but then immediately losing it.
Sorry about that.
Big stonks.
Someone's mic is having a meltdown.
That's a Vamp.
Yeah, it is Vamp.
Vamp, you good?
Turned into a static
I'm
TV.
gonna take that as a no. I'm gonna take that as a no.
Okay, you mean.
Okay. Well, Vamp figures that out. I guess we'll take over. Shoutouts to Tech.
So, coming up here is the best tech in the game, which is that grab pattern right there. So that was Megalovania. I don't want to talk over it in case you could hear it. But, yeah.
Who added that? I forgot.
I forget who. I think
Is it Vitellary? I think it was Vitellary.
You gotta love it.
Not the first time Megalovania has been inserted into a Celeste test.
There we go, error 418.
That should be better.
Yep.
Ah, yes it is.
Who added Megalovania?
Very good.
Me. Alex.
So yeah, this map has 2 dashes, 2 jumps, half jump height, and 0.7 dash length. So keep in mind that for later.
Also,
That's a
if
lot
we
of-
just go out of bounds there, the spinners are not loaded, and we can just leave.
Wait, hold on. Isn't it
Yeah, we
just
don't
like
like to play this
holding
map.
down makes the screen, or makes you move faster than the screen can scroll down there? It might have something to do with like a camera trigger or something, but it's really weird.
Possibly,
Camera
yeah.
doesn't scroll as fast as it usually does for some reason. Yeah.
Also, yeah, that map.
And we restart chapter just to make it back to the start, because the Grandmaster lobby is actually quite big. There's a lot of gameplay between each of the maps.
Yeah, I think there's like a kind of upper and lower section, and so that's why we restart chapters, because you go to like the extreme of one, then you go to the extreme of the other, and then we restart again to get back to the hot gate. I think. it's 5 a.m. I might be 6 a.m. even. I might be wrong about that.
Seriously, major props to Sasha for staying up.
Yeah.
And just being
I hope you got a lot of coffee.
trooper.
I do drink coffee.
That feels bad.
So, isn't there something of a skip right here? Yeah, spin or
that's
dash pretty crush to skip some amount of time. Yeah, it's the same thing as one of the earlier maps. You get your dash back off a moving block with spinners on it.
Yeah, we never explained feather bits. Is that a thing you want to explain?
Just if you dash diagonally into a feather, it just gives an extra speed boost.
Not
No,
dash diagonally.
no,
It's
that's-
if you hold up, or if you hold a horizontal and a vertical input when you go into a feather, then you move diagonally out of it, and then that gives you like 250 speed in both directions, and then you can redirect that speed.
Here's Tri-Peak Trail.
Oh, alright.
Let's go.
Don't blink.
Do not
This
blink.
Do not blink. Do not blink.
Well, no, this map is actually made up of 3 different sections: a tight green block section,
don't
a
blink.
noon reflection section, and a farewell jelly section. So there's the
Yeah.
first section, and then we go into this section.
And now we go into this section.
Yeah.
So,
We did it.
right?
That's the maximum speed we hit. That is 3720 max speed. That's 2.5 times the speed of the 8C TAS. That's 62 pixels per frame. Yeah.
It actually used to go faster, but it's faster just to cut an ultra.
Yeah, there was an ultra that I cut because you had to lose a lot of speed to line it up, and it was not worth it. It
I
just
mean,
wasn't
you
worth
almost
it.
reached 4,000 speed, but it's kind of slow.
Yeah, the setup is too slow. It's
Chat.
about a tenth of a second faster to not do that, I think. I don't remember exactly.
This is another task with fairly basic movement throughout it. There are some interesting moments like that, where I think that looks, I'm pretty sure that's intended, right?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
I tried that and it didn't work.
Well, when they talked to the mapper about it, like, the mapper gave them a wink.
GG doggo.
Yep.
So yeah, more jet boosters that act like wind.
So we don't want to dash when we're in those, except when it's against our direction going.
Oh, we never explained how wall bounces from spikes work.
I mean,
Yeah,
all that it matters is that you're moving away from the spikes, which means it can still
Yeah.
act.
It's more leniency shenanigans.
Yeah, basically there's a few frames after the dash ends where you can still wall bounce, and if you move away, then you can wall bounce. That's pretty much it.
We had a legendary improvement to this level. It was, I think it was like minus 513 frames. It removed the auto scroll.
Oh yeah.
So usually most of these ground tiles you cannot stand on because the mapper put kill boxes where they are. But in the second room, the mapper had actually purposely removed them so that this auto script scroller is actually possible.
Do you mean auto
And-
skip?
Right there.
Words.
One of the two. But yeah, the auto scroller skip was pretty great. It saved 553 frames at 60 FPS.
Oh, okay. Do that.
And some gameplay in this heart room.
Here.
Part of the storm.
Alright.
Shoutouts to me finding a strat and then realizing that the TAS already used that strat. I wish I could say that was the only time this has happened, but that happened a lot of times. Looks like Vamp is having some issues, unfortunately. Yeah. Ah, there you go.
Back. But muted.
This
You can't get rid of Vamp that easily.
That's okay. This is one of those maps
My
that you
internet
just like
keeps cutting out.
watch and appreciate.
Oh yeah.
Like the amount of playtesting that Canadian had to probably do to make this work is just, I don't think anyone really appreciates that because they're too busy being like mad because it's really difficult. But
Oh,
it's
yeah.
insane.
Oh, yeah, this level uses a mechanic that redirects your horizontal speed into vertical speed.
Did Canadian do most of the playtesting himself, or did he get some people to help?
You know, I don't know like the actual ratio. All I know is that it had to be just an absurd amount of time.
So this
Everything's
movement right here has
so precise. Go
yeah.
ahead, sorry.
this movement here hasn't been touched in about like 7 months because it's basically one giant auto score. So any improvement actually made is all lost because you have to wait for these jellies to float down on this giant screen right here.
It would be like lightning sound effects.
This room in particular is actually the main culprit as to why that
yeah, we
lightning
actually-
mod was made.
We
Because
also
the
lose about a second of RTA here because we do like 50 dashes.
If anyone from TAS Videos is watching, which you are, we care about RTA, except we don't. Sorry. We care about
we have done some things to optimize RTA, like we fixed some level loads that were being weird.
Yeah, we lost. How much time was that? in
Like a
total?
minute.
Yeah.
But it was all RTA, so nobody bothered.
Yeah, the main thing that in the Celeste community is that we care about what the in-game timer says. Which is actually why we do some things that are actually slower RTA but faster for in-game time.
Like pause buffering.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
so we don't need Theo here.
Sometimes.
Just leave him all the way back there, and then do stuff like that. And there he is.
Yeah, so normally you have to take him with you pretty much the entire way, and it's not easy at all. But obviously with the TAS, just disregard Theo. He's not really contributing much.
I like Theo.
Yeah, Theo's
He's moral support.
he good
He's a-
people.
Speaking of good people.
Alright, so yeah. Yeah, so right here, battling
Battling
so she
POV.
just wants to take all the attention. Yeah. So whenever Battlein is inside a room, the camera does not like to leave her off screen. So basically we skip her and then do the entire screen without Battlein.
I wish that worked in other Battleline maps, but it doesn't.
Alright, so
No, it's not.
It was a puzzle map.
So- achievement unlocked. Do the puzzle map with none of the puzzles.
So you can
I mean,
just,
there's got to be one puzzle
they're optional.
somewhere. No.
Dang. Oh. Okay.
Some interesting lobby routing. Some interesting lobby routing coming up.
Or the bubble bounce.
These are feather bubbles without the feather, and they are quite jank. And Jack spent a
Yeah.
while getting a demo to work there, and it saved
So
around
welcome
like
to
a
Ultra
second. I
Difficult.
think.
Yeah, ultra difficult time. Oh.
Oh yeah.
So you can actually go quite fast in this map RTA, but TAS uses that to hell and back.
Is this the hardest Grandmaster map, RTA?
Some people say Heart of the Storm is harder, but a lot of people agree this is the hardest.
Yeah.
Hence,
That
it's
doesn't-
called
that
Ultra
doesn't-
Difficult.
Oh yeah. Shoutouts to just ignoring spinners.
Yeah, some of those spinners were unloaded, some of them were. The
Yeah.
ones that were loaded, you just go from one side to the other in a frame.
So that was actually the last regular map.
Yeah.
And now we're heading on to the heart side.
Grand finale, let's go.
Yep. And this is all getting
TASGiving
remade.
Map?
Yeah, all of this is gonna
Right,
get
so-
remade, which is even more of a reason as to why we should have a second showcase.
All right, so trigger
Yeah.
skips.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
watch closely here. Here you get 2 jumps and 2 dashes, but at the end of the section, you can jump over the triggers that would, like, put it back. So now you can do the entire level with 2 jumps and 2 dashes, which is very broken for TAS. And here we jump around a trigger that sets your dashes back to 1 just to avoid, like, getting it reset.
This task kind of just speaks for itself.
Yeah, I think the trigger skip saves almost a minute.
Well, did anybody ever route it without trigger skip? I don't think
No.
It's a lot of time.
Flag 1.
We have about 40 seconds of gameplay left.
Yeah, farewell.
This 2 hours came by really quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it
went
really
by
did.
really, really fast.
I knew
Whoa.
it would, but
We didn't
I
even
forgot
have
about
time to
that.
go over everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Not even
there's so much more that we could have touched,
Oh,
but
wait.
just didn't have time.
147.34 IGT.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
the original, the very first draft used to be a 150-17.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
it's enough
Thanks
6
for
a.m.
Thanks for letting us show this off.
oh my
yeah,
gosh.
seriously, it's been an absolute honor to be here.
Yeah,
I had
it's
so
been-
much fun.
This has been so fun, even though it's super super
You want
late
to go
here.
to the museum?
Yeah, we can if we
Or
have
do we not have time?
if we have time. I don't know. Do we have time?
Let me confirm that real quick, and I'll let you know. I think
All right. Well, I'm gonna just get there in case. So one of the really cool things that we put in here, like I said, there's a lot of people that worked on this, and in the prologue.
I just got told you guys have plenty of time.
Yo, let's go. So this is something that everyone needs to check out for sure. If you guys wanna, where do you want to go first?
TAS'es, duh.
Dang. Where'd we put those guys? They put those in like the very end of this or what?
Bottom left.
Yep.
Yeah.
How about we
There's
go right here? Let's go.
like
Oh, look at all this. This is
Yeah,
beautiful.
very.
All right, let's
detailed.
go through this. Let's go through
Wow.
this. Who's reading them? Let's go one by one.
Do you want to just cycle through them all?
Yep, go ahead. This is the TAS team. We're gonna shout out everyone on the TAS team.
Saying fish to chill out mountain, a little bit misleading, but we'll give it to her.
Oh no!
What order are we doing this in? I'll just go.
You go.
I made a task, he made a task for a total of 15 maps in the collab. Not even on. He was on commons for last showcase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did Trenches of Jellies. Shout out to him.
Big shout out.
That's
Lanvilla.
serious.
Addicted to TAS, and I did 11 maps so far. Fun fact, about 10 seconds of TAS gameplay takes an hour to do.
I mean, depends on the maps, and it takes even longer.
Yeah.
and depends on whether or
Sometimes you can spend 5
try.
hours on 30 frames.
2 days on
Yeah,
frames.
I speed task because I don't try to optimize. So I'll be done in like a couple hours.
All right, who's taking next? Marlin, I got it. I helped TAS 2 maps, which were Forest of the Ancients, Dad Bod map, and Abandoned and Ruined. Who's got Mlseg?
I guess me.
Oh,
Hello,
don't
I'm Mlseg, and I really enjoyed tassing for the collab. Tassing in collaboration with other people was a new experience for me, and I'm glad I chose to be a part of it. Shoutouts to Mlseg, you're awesome. I've tasked a total of 13 maps. I've also helped optimize a few tasks by other people.
Boom, boom. You tell who that is. Rich Connor, and I've made a task for 4 maps. Who's this joker? Go ahead and take that one, Vamp.
Oh yeah, Bissy wrote this one. everybody had such a like hyped like thinking around every time I would make one, because I drafted like a map like at least once a day because I was really passionate and into it.
Boom.
Oh, wow.
Made a task for 28 maps.
Yeah,
About a third of it.
I'm Sashabell. I made a task with a map tag 90.
that's a little bit.
And that's it. I feel like I might have maybe should have put a bit more in there. I only tasked one map, but then I optimized a lot of stuff after.
Shout out to that draft.
Same here.
We got all kinds.
Same with a lot of people actually. A lot of people weren't involved in making the original collab task because they weren't in the Discord, and then got involved afterwards.
So that's why people like me aren't in, just because I joined after like a call for TAS'es was sent out, so I never knew about it.
Same with Kataiser, and I mean, same with loads of people, honestly. So
Do I get to do mine?
Having said that,
Do I get to do mine? No. Okay.
sure.
No, I didn't.
You get to read yours.
Okay.
Of course. You kidding
You
me?
can read yours.
Oh, let's see. Here we go. Bissy, you guys like all these icons? Bissy busted a whole bunch of these things out. I really like this one. That's fantastic. Bissy, I was one of the administrators of the collab. I mainly managed the day-to-day activities of the mappers. I was a large part of the quality control, including being the captain of the beginner and expert difficulties, which meant I supervised all maps involved. Bissy made a lot of this possible. Like, if you ever see Bissy in real life or on the internet, you just give him a big hug, because the amount of work that Bissy put in for this is just absolutely nuts. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, sorry. I am Dadbod. I was the person who started the collab and managed the big picture stuff, though Bissy took care of a lot of the big picture stuff too. As a playtesting captain, I playtested and helped out nearly every map, and also consistently worked on the collab to help out anyone who needed assistance. Beautiful. The credits in here are just insane. Like, there's so many people that put all this stuff together. It's
I was going to
it's
say,
truly a behemoth of a project.
I was going to say, I think we should just recap do the credits again, just for anyone who missed the start of this.
yes, please.
So once again, thank you to Dahlukeh H, Dannnn, Universecat, FishMcMuffins, Gliperal, Kataiser, Lanvilla, Lmjacks, Marlin, Mazrock9, Mlseg, Nebs, RichConnerGMN, Sashabell, Squeal, TheRoboMan, Tilo5457, Truegen, Tyran, Vamp, Vitellary, and Wafer. They've all helped task this. It's been, we've been doing this for months, and we will continue to do so. It's really been a pleasure to task this and to do this showcase for all of you guys as well.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Contributed.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I guess with that, we will call it a night, guys. I know, and this is just speaking because we've had this group chat for like the last week, and we've just been talking. And I know a lot of people were like stressing out about this, but you guys really did a fantastic job. Like, you brought the passion that you've had to put this project together, and I think you've done a really good job of conveying it. I know it's hard to speak really fast because there's a lot of stuff going on, but like, to everyone who was just doing commentary with me, like, I really appreciate you guys. You absolutely rocked it out. That's gonna be all for us. I appreciate you guys watching, and we will turn it back over. And until next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.